Hello everybody! Good Throwback Thursday. This is DeSoto Brown speaking to you from Bishop Museum Archives, and as I said, it's Throwback Thursday time. I'm the Bishop Museum historian, so I'm here to tell you some stuff about the old days. But, as you can tell by my attire, this is a special Halloween-themed show, so we're going to break away a little bit from what we normally do. And I'm going to be showing you some things that might have been scary to some people. Maybe if you were very young, these might have been scary, but as an adult, I don't think you would be very scared by these. These are movies that have a scary theme or something mysterious or, sort of Halloween appropriate, but they have a connection to Hawaii or the Pacific as well, even though they were just Hollywood films. So this is a little bit different, as I said. And we're going to start with this frightening looking thing. She-demons. Now, you may know that in the late 1950s there were lots of horror and science fiction films made in Hollywood, usually very low budget. Well, this is one of those low budget films. And She-Demons takes place on some unnamed Pacific island where some people get shipwrecked, and they discover, as so frequently is the case, that the island is controlled by a mad scientist. And he has created various sort of experimental people, including the she-demons of the title, who are experiments that went wrong. And as you can see in this picture, the she-demons at the end break loose and murder him for how he has mistreated them, again, as so frequently happens with mad scientists. Now, he has obviously needs to create a great deal of power to run his laboratory, and he does that by harnessing a volcano. And when the shipwrecked people look out the window of his laboratory, they see movies of hot lava in Halemaumau crater on Hawaii Island. And look, that's how he gets the power. Not very scary. I've seen it. I can tell you it's not that good. Now, next, another one of these late 50s films, Space Master X7. Rocket into new orbit of, I'm trying to read this backward, thrills with Space Master X7. Now, Space Master X7 just takes place in the West Coast, well, pretty much just in Los Angeles, of course, where it was filmed. But there is a Hawaii connection. What happens is a rocket comes back down to Earth from having been shot into outer space, but it's picked up some kind of strange space virus. And this virus starts to grow and turns into big lumpy things. And the woman who is the protagonist of the film is unknowingly infected with the space virus, or at least her suitcase is, and she gets on a plane that's coming to Honolulu because she lives in Honolulu. So she is about to bring the space virus to us here. Fortunately, she is intercepted and they apply flamethrowers to her luggage, and the Space Master X7 virus is wiped out, and humanity is saved, and Oahu and the rest of the Hawaiian Islands is saved as well. Now, next, again, late 1950s, Voodoo Island. Voodoo Island. Why am I showing you Voodoo Island? Because this film was shot entirely on the island of Kauai, our very own Garden Island. Now again, it's supposedly taking place on some unknown, unnamed Pacific island that is going to be developed into a resort. But the first people who went there to start the excavations and the surveying for the resort disappeared mysteriously. So a group goes to see what happened to them, and they discover that the natives have killed them off using voodoo. Now, unfortunately, voodoo, you probably know, does not come from anywhere in the Pacific. It is a Caribbean tradition. However, to Hollywood, that does not matter. And the star of Voodoo Island, seen in the center of this picture, was Boris Karloff. And some of you will certainly remember Boris Karloff because he was most famous for being the first Frankenstein monster in the first Frankenstein film in 1931. And then from then on, he was associated with horror films, science fiction films, as well as other dramatic films. By the time he made this film, he wasn't quite as big a star anymore, as you can tell, because this is, again, a pretty low-budget movie, although they did come all the way here to film it. And Voodoo Island, of the title, not only has voodoo people, but it has man-eating plants. And when I saw this movie on TV when I was 7 years old, I kind of got a little unsettled by it, because there was a scene where two little girls, who obviously were local girls, in a Hawaiian backdrop were playing. One of them fell down and a man-eating plant grabbed her. Now, even though I knew it was phony and it was kind of silly, the fact that it looked like people that might be my friends it was kind of scary. Anyway, now, some of you also may be aware of a fictional character named Charlie Chan, and this is Charlie Chan as shown on the cover of a children's book in the 1930s. Charlie Chan first appeared in a novel that was called The House Without a Key, published in the 1920s by a man named Earl Derr Biggers, and he based this fictional character of Charlie Chan on a real person who was named Chang Apana, who was in fact a detective in the Honolulu Police Department. Now, the fictional Charlie Chan really didn't have any resemblance to Chang Apana, but Charlie Chan became a very popular character, not only in a series of books that Biggers wrote, but even more so for a series of movies that were made starting in the 1920s, and the last ones were made in the late 1940s. So for about a period of a little over 20 years, there were numerous Charlie Chan Hollywood films. One of them was called, as you can see here, Charlie Chan in Honolulu. Now, Charlie Chan is not necessarily a horror or science fiction character, but he did deal with murder, and he did deal with a bunch of creepy, kind of strange things like wax museums and all kinds of mysteries as to how someone had died and who had done it. So I think he's kind of appropriate to talk about in this Halloween-themed discussion that we're having. And Halloween will be with us next week. Obviously, some of us can't wait to dress up for Halloween, as you can see. Now, it's time for this week's question. And we're going to see how well you were paying attention. On the Pacific Island, where the mad scientist created the she-demons, what was the natural force that he harnessed to run his laboratory? You post your answers, and then eventually we will tell you what the answer is and if you were correct or not. And until that time, everybody have a fun Halloween, get lots of candy, eat lots of junk food, dress up, do all the good things. And next Thursday we'll be back with another Throwback Thursday, and it won't be quite so seasonal, but there'll be something interesting for you to see. So till next week, let me also remind you that we're coming from Bishop Museum, and don't let's forget to tell you to come and see Bishop Museum. Come and visit Bishop Museum, and come in person if you can, and if you cannot, come visit our website, bishopmuseum.org. Find out what's going on here. Learn about us, learn about other things, have fun on Halloween. I will see you for Throwback Thursday next week, and until that time, aloha.